Hey there and welcome. This week's video is a little departure from normal. I used to be a backcountry ranger in Baxter State Park in northern Maine, and about 4 years ago, in my off season, I was a summer ranger. I went up to visit my friend Bill, who was at the time a winter ranger at Chimney Pond, right there in the heart of Baxter State Park, the terminus of the Appalachian Trail, way up in northern Maine. And we spent, I spent 4 or 5 days up with him, and it was an incredibly wonderful and unique, bizarre trip, bizarre place to be in the winter. And I just want you to enjoy some of the sights and sounds that I saw. I apologize for some of the shaky camera work. It was early days of Bus Huxley, and I was still kind of figuring out what I was doing. I knew I wanted to film kind of the week and the time that I spent there, and I've been sitting on the footage for, 4 years now, and I figured now was as good a time as any. We would go out and sweep the trail at night just to make sure nobody was on it, which was kind of cool. And I knew that it was going to be a really unique perspective shooting up the trail after dark. And it's really, it was just this crazy feeling, because this is a trail that I hiked for work, countless times, and it's a hiking trail. And to be able to kind of putt along on the snowmobile so much faster than, obviously this is sped up, but so much faster than walking. It was just a bizarre kind of feeling. It was so much faster, but just a tight, narrow little trail, but you couldn't really go anywhere. It was beautiful. It was a lot of fun. And back to the cabin, the cozy cabin. So we were poking around at the base of some of the ice climbs, right in the middle of the Great Basin here, the huge cirque of Katahdin there on the left, and the enormous 1,000-foot cliffs behind us. It was really, really neat, and kind of preparing for the next day when we would climb up the saddle trail. And this is incredibly steep here. It's hard to kind of convey on film, but this is nearly a wall, and I'd never climbed with crampons and ice axes before, and it was a ton of fun. And this is where I left Bill behind. He had to stay down and do some work, and I was able to go up onto the tablelands and work towards the summit of Katahdin alone. And in the winter, I've been up there alone a number of times for work, early in the morning, late at night, or whatever, and just incredibly strange, so sharply cold, and just silent but loud. Oh man, painfully cold. Really, really cool experience being up there. It was just glorious, and that really cool ring around the sun there. It made me realize, kind of how fragile. There's my water bottle. Golly, I can't believe that. That froze up solid. Made me realize kind of how fragile, I was if anything were to go wrong. But obviously, in that case, it was a pretty clean, beautiful day. Not so bad. Hamlin Ridge, out of the wind. It's okay. So when I came back down, I decided to extend the hike a little bit and go down the Hamlin Ridge Trail. It's just, in the summer it's a really nice way to go down from Baxter Peak back down to Chimney Pond, because there's nobody out there. But this time of year, obviously, no one's really up there anyway. And but the perspective, I mean, the view, it kind of speaks for itself. Really good. Rocking the edge. So my last morning, the morning we had to kind of pack up and I had to head out, we got a ton, like a foot of fresh, beautiful powder, and it was just a blizzard, and it was exactly what I was hoping for the whole time I was up there, and it was really, really fun. The skiing, I got to go out and ski a little bit in that, and just intense beauty of being up there in the middle of this kind of crazy blizzard. It was really fun. And then I had to pack up and head out, it was sad to go, but I had a great visit up there, and I'm glad that I filmed what I got of it. There's obviously a bunch of stuff that I wasn't able to film. I didn't film anything inside the cabin, and a bunch of the skiing and poking around that I did, and Bill and I did. But there it is in the memory, and here's a little glimpse of the past. Hope you enjoyed it.